Resell your items online. Go ahead, declutter your life. Have a yard sale or let eBay do the work. From the thrift store shopping to that wallet popping. There are two things in life that are certain. Deathpiles in Texas. Deathpiles in Texas. With Derek Everitt and Adam Beesley.
All right, D-Roy, we are back with a return episode. I would like to say season 5 of Deathpiles and Taxes.
It's a semi-annual podcast.
Well, now it is. It used to
We
be.
used to be weekly.
We were
Like
weekly.
clockwork.
We turned into bi-weekly and then bi-monthly and then monthly and then semi-annually.
Last time we recorded was before we went up to the Utah-Florida game.
Yes,
We did a few shows,
that was back in August.
and now it's a whole other year.
It's February.
It
So
was almost our anniversary, if I remember.
I'm saying it's been 5 years because it was January.
Half a decade.
January of 2019, we recorded the original podcast. Like Joe Rogan, we were taken down off of all of the platforms for
Nothing's happened since.
nothing has
It got
happened.
kind of boring. Nothing happened with the world. Status quo for both me and you.
I'm not,
And that's why we haven't recorded. We've had nothing to record.
I'm not buying that. So, hey, for all those that are continued to listen, first off, thank you so much. We got the number report again last night, and I was like, wow, people are still finding us. We're not even, we're evergreen.
Evergreen. And there's a growing world of people that kind of, when me and you started, there was a couple of podcasts
Yeah.
talking about reselling.
Yeah.
I think there was like less than 5.
Oh, yeah, because there was Griff.
Griff, but that was eBay Radio. That was even, eBay podcast.
Yeah.
Started by then.
Anyway,
Pure Hustle,
the Scavenger Life.
they just stopped.
Yeah, they stopped. Yeah.
And there might have been a couple others I'm not remembering, but that's okay because they never mention us anyways. Most of them stayed pretty consistent though.
Oh, yeah.
And they've grown, and now there's but they don't do it quite like us.
Nobody does it quite like us.
And I don't know what we're even going to do going forward. I'm sure we'll still talk about reselling and what we're doing, but there's also other parts of life, and we just share stories, and it's just me and Adam get together and talk. What you get's what you get.
I call it my life journal.
We don't really script this out. Surprise, surprise. We did do guests there for a while, but
Oh, yeah.
kind of hard. Me and Adam can't schedule a time to get together, so throwing a third-party person that we want to talk to and their schedule, it just...
Life's busy, but we're glad you're here to listen to us because I tell D-Roy every time, it's like, imagine us just sitting in like a gymnasium and we had hundreds and hundreds of people just sitting in the gymnasium listening to what we say.
That's where people get together to talk and communicate. People get together at the old gymnasiums, and they just that's where the people go to talk.
I kind of feel like we're kind of like Norm and maybe Woody there at the old Cheers bar.
Probably a lot more. That's probably a lot more better analogy than the gymnasium.
I
Get
did.
together down at the Cheers, and some of us think we know everything, and some of us are just drunks, alcoholics, and then there's Sam.
That's right.
I don't know which one of us is Sam.
Yeah, the constant. Oh, I was throwing in Norm because he's the accountant.
Cliff Claiborne, maybe.
Yeah, you're the mailman.
I know a little bit about a lot of different things, but not a whole lot about anything.
You deliver stuff.
I do.
And I think that's kind of a good analogy because by the end of the day, I love people and it's people are great, but it's the 10% rule. Like 10% of the people cause 90% of your problems. And sometimes it's just that little 10% that just irks the heck out of you and makes you want to do something else.
You do like people.
I do.
But what would you do if you didn't? I mean, you got to deal with people. No matter what you do, you can't just be a solo person that never sees or deals with anything. That
No.
exists that I'm aware of.
I couldn't do that. And the older I get, the more, I realize my kids are a lot the same. Like my son doesn't really say anything. Like you ask him, how's his day? Oh, it was good. I'm like, wow, use some adjectives, son. It was very good.
Very good. It was fine. Leave me alone.
But then if you get him at the right moment, and usually it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night when he's trying to go to bed and he'll just, want to spill his beans. But anyways, the other day I went to go pick him up after one of his after school clubs. And he's just hanging out, talking to everybody. I'm like, dude, get here. I got places to be. Oh, sorry, I was talking with everybody.
Yeah, Apple doesn't fall too far from that tree.
No, but
You're a pretty social guy.
yeah, it's good time had by all. Well, D-Roy, let's get into a couple things. It is tax time. Like said,
That's why we're recording.
That is
know where to find you.
that is yeah. I'm
I
here.
come here almost. I mean, I come here quite a bit to record something else, another show. Somehow that managed to happen.
To continue to happen. Like I said, I've been the inconsistent one. I've been the bad part of the
You've
relationship.
been a world traveler. You've almost died again.
I did almost die
I
again.
mean, we got things to cover,
Now, let's.
but we'll get to it.
I don't know where we start. I mean, do we do a reflection since where our lives have been since August?
I don't know.
Do we talk about let's just kind of go forward,
See where it goes.
and then let's maybe throw in a couple life events of like maybe we could pull in the month of August, September, October, November.
Well, I wasn't journaling. I remember what I was. We'll figure it out.
And this is the best part.
I'll make it up.
No, but you don't have to. This is what I tell everybody. And I brought it up the other day. I was looking at different things. You don't really have to because all you have to do is pull up your phone and it lists what happened you did
Right there.
per day, per week, per month.
Makes it.
And even like, you push the button, it gives you a cute little video of what you did for the month. And I get plenty of things. And, usually it has the facial recognition. It recognizes you as Mr. Scumbag.
If nothing else happens from the show, I've got some nice nicknames.
Yes, you do.
People think fondly of me. I was talking the other day. I think this was our group chat, but not everybody listening has access to that because we want to still have a show and people
At a job.
Yeah. Anyway, where was I going with that one? Mr. Scumbag. I don't know.
The nicknames, El Sancho.
It left me right there. It was something to the effect of we were talking about though.
Oh, man, you got to get.
There's a lot in there.
The other thing that's kind of happened is I don't try to do as much do 30, so now I get Costco water bottle spitting. It doesn't have the same effect.
Well, it's a lot better for you. I'm back on the this is Dr. Pepper Zero.
Oh, okay.
No, I need to calm her down.
Calm her down. Kick off the zero. It's probably caffeine free too.
It should be.
Yeah. Let's journey down a little bit. Let's talk about taxes here for a minute because I know it's the riveting subject that everyone loves. We'll get into a little bit of the reselling and what has to happen. Just like everything, like Congress, the IRS, I love them to death and I hate them at the same time. I went back to Washington, D.C. We had talked about this. I pay for it out of the goodness of my heart because I'm hoping to have a little opportunity to influence some people. Like last time I checked, like that's what you elect Congress people, you elect senators to represent you as people. And then you go to them and say, here's the issues that I hope you can fix. Obviously, every single person is touched by the IRS, and sometimes in good ways and
That's a nice way of putting it.
other times in inappropriate ways. But we should be able to be on the same page. Filing taxes should not be as hard as it is. One of the issues we talked specifically about affects, everyone reselling the 1099K issues. 2-3 years ago, they were going to lower it to $600. And then they waited $600. If you sell more than $600, they issue a 1099K. Then, like December 28th, they said, nope, we're not doing that. And now it's gone back up to $20,000. And then it's supposed to go to $10,000. And then it's supposed to go to $1,000. Like, nobody knows. That's the problem. Again, there's no, real reflection on what's supposed to happen. But like I said, I tell everyone, here's the thing. At some point, the IRS, your bank, everybody knows everything that you're doing on your cell phone. And if you're taking money, there's really not a reason not to claim it because you have expenses to go against it. All you're doing by putting it on your tax return and writing off the expenses is just your insurance. You're just making sure that in the future, you don't get a nasty letter that says, hey, you had $1,700 that come through on eBay or Facebook Marketplace. Now you owe an extra $700.
Boo.
Exactly. There's the IRS touching you in places you don't want to be touched.
Maybe we could have a class action lawsuit against them.
Yeah, and we'll send it in the mail and they'll lose it or shred it.
We never got it. I have the tracking right here. Says you signed for it. Don't know that guy. Doesn't work here.
Yeah.
It says Uncle Sam right there. Never heard of him. Pay us some money.
The older I get, the more I kind of reflect about, I want to do proactive things that are going to make my life easier, not harder. So that's one of them.
I remembered what I was going to say.
All right.
It was all in that bad touch, good touch talk you were giving there.
Okay.
So we're talking about the internet. In our text thread with the friends, we're talking about Facebook and getting blocked. One of our friends had that experience with Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't need to go into all the details, but got blocked. And I said, I've been banned from yard sales going back to trying to sell fingerlings.
Yeah.
And like, you just got to realize sometimes you're in somebody else's sandbox and they have all the rules, all the control. It's just a weird world there.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking, I don't remember, we were talking about just how the world operates or something like that. It just reminds me of the text group. Now it's, what used to be my problem is now becoming more of a problem.
Oh, yeah.
You guys try to forward me something on Twitter. Somebody's blocked me. I don't know who this person even is.
Well,
I'm not that bad of a person, except for I guess I'm a hill online. I'm a bad guy.
Here's the thing. Remember, it stemmed from now all these anonymous member posts, and it somebody posted a picture at the local gas station.
Yeah, and this is what cracked me up too. It was Mona local, so it was like the only gas station in this small town in the middle of Utah. And somebody takes an anonymous post and puts it on the community page of this truck had pulled up, and they're taking up more than one stall in a handicapped spot, and somebody just says, "Hey, this isn't really good or appropriate.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be doing this."
No, and they should.
And it's true. I agree. Everybody agrees. Like, you shouldn't be parking a handicapped stall, and you should be taking up more than one space unless you're handicapped, or whatever. And, but apparently, like a small community in which I'm from, didn't like that. I didn't know.
Man.
The beef came in, and here's the thing: people just pile on. They see blood in the water, and it doesn't matter what side it was. Had it been like the other side, and somebody's like, "This is how it's done. Those handicaps need to learn how to walk for themselves." People will went nuts the other way, right? And this is the other way. And this is the side I agree with, but I wasn't the anonymous poster. I just kind of stumbled upon it. But there's people that I know that I grew up and went to church with that wouldn't let me have root beers in their house because the bottle looked like a beer bottle. There's like, well, sometimes that's how it goes. And that's, old people park and don't always remember the placards. Or they're like, people are nuts. That's what it comes down to. People are nuts. I was trying to sell an item that I bought at a Walmart back 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I put it on the Facebook marketplace. And it was these community yard sales. And people would say, "Hey, you can buy that Walmart for $7. You're trying to sell it for $20. You should go to hell." Like, whatever, like you're an awful person. I'm like, well, you go buy them at Walmart then. They're not there. Well, that's because you took them all. You should be hung and you ruined Christmas. And I'm like, yeah, I did. Because back then, to get the algorithm, if there was talk, you'd stay at the top and I'd sell my stuff.
Sure.
And at some point, I got banned from a lot of yard sales that way because I was controversial and provoking people or whatever. But it was because the people running it didn't like me going and buying something at Walmart to resell it for more than face value, which is what this whole show kind of started about.
Walmart does.
And that was my other part. Is like, you think Walmart goes out, buys these for $7 and marks them up to $7.01, and they just break even on the deal or anything? And I'd say the same people are trying to sell houses. I'm like, if you want to get upset at people, look at the margins on houses, especially back in those.
Oh yeah, they were crazy.
You still buy a house for $130,000, and they were flipping it for $300,000, $400,000. Maybe 400 was a little high back then, but you'd be making a couple $100,000.
No, I mean,
for just flipping houses. I'm like, that's where people are getting gouged.
Not my $7.
That's not particularly reasonable. But people just, for whatever reason, would target on that. And it's kind of the same way. This last Christmas, I didn't sell anything because now I think people are just shoplifting or something. I don't know if it's the self-checkout lines or what it is, but I'd go to find these hot toys. I'm like, okay, yeah. And I'd go to the store and it's like, they're selling it cheaper than what it costs. Like, this doesn't work. I'm not going to buy this to lose $10 or make $3. Like, so I don't know. People are stealing things or something.
It's funny you say that because, again, there's a lot of different text groups that we're a part of. Some people are interested in, backdoor wrestling. Other people are interested in
wrestling. I think you can buy a few of your hobbies there, Adam.
In investing in certain sports franchises. Others are interested in political, not political, but funny kind of things. So there's different groups, and you always forget who's in what. But one this morning that you're not a part of, Gavin Newsom, the governor from the state of California, he just posted this. He was in a store, going through kind of the self-checkout lane, and he was pissed because he saw someone walk right through the store with an entire bag of stuff, and he knew they didn't pay. So he asked the person who manages the self-checkout things, why didn't you do that? And she was pissed. She had no idea who this guy was. And she said, because of the governor. Because the governor changed the laws, and now people steal stuff, and that's why everything is closing. What am I supposed to do? And it was funny. So he talked about this, and that's exactly what you said.
There's real consequences out there for things.
That's why all these stores are closing. That's why there's no Walgreens in Oakland. Because they can't. Because
That's
people
why the A's are moving. People were just walking into the stadium, taking popcorn and watching them play.
That's why the Golden State Warriors moved. They couldn't afford to pay Steph and Clay. And, the problem is Draymond was rubbing off on the community a little bit too much, got a little too feisty. So it's just funny you say that. So I think it's real. I mean, because people will do anything to make money. And if they can get it for no cost and sell it for $20 and you have to pay $25, of course, then you can't make money.
Yeah, something was happening this holiday season. And to be fair, I didn't get way down. I got my own Deathpiles I'm working on. I got my own stack of things, cards, whatever. But I did kind of do some exploring because I'd like to find that one item or a couple items where you can buy it and sell it for double. And I'm sure somebody out there's like, well, you were an idiot because you didn't find this. And I was doing this all day long.
Doesn't she live with you?
Hopefully that is a joint bank account. So.
Oh, I just say the person that called you an idiot. I mean, that's what it's like at my house too.
Yeah, well, they should get together. They should have their own podcast about how stupid we are is what should happen.
That would be great.
But I'm sure there's always opportunities to be made. But I did my general scouting, and I went to a few different stores, and I was doing my scanning to the point of like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Walmart and Target themselves or whoever's just decided they're selling their stuff. I don't know where it's coming from, but it was just break even at best or lose money. And like, well, that's not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit at home, list stuff, and ship it out to lose money. I'll just go and watch Christmas Carol or whatever I did.
Fascinating thing. My wife, she was having problems sleeping, and so I'm like, all right, let's turn on a YouTube video about taxes, and that sure helps.
Yeah, here's my insomnia right now just hearing about it.
Because there was some tax legislation that passed the House, and then it's got to go through. Anyways, I really needed to figure out what it was, so I turned it on, and after that one, a whole CNBC series about Amazon reselling came on, like an hour and a half special, and it went through kind of all the different things that happen with Amazon resellers, with how all these people are now, subcontractors driving their own trucks, how some of them aren't getting bathroom breaks because they're delivering to nowhere man land.
Well, they have to hit those quota times.
People are complaining about that, but then it really went into this deep dive of what happens with returns. It went into how much returns cost. And like I said, some people just say, well, keep the item. And that's what people know that. Mm-hmm. So they're like, well, I'm going to buy this item and then request a refund and not pay for it. And they're going to tell me to keep it anyways.
Yeah, because it costs more to process it and they have to deal with it. That was, eBay was kind of pushing that a while ago. They kind of backed off, but it was the same thing of like, just tell them to keep it. And I was the same thought of like, because not that many people want returns. How many returns you get a year? So just tell them to keep it. And I mean, they went down a few different paths, and it's like, well, no, I'm not gonna, because that tells them that that's how it works. There's always somebody out there that's like, oh, this is the new policy. I'm gonna order thousands of things, and 10% of them tell me to keep it. I'll ship back the other 10%.
Yeah,
and then I got the item for free, or they sell. I mean, there's always a hustle out there,
and that's what they said. Because of the way shopping has changed, especially over the last 4 years. They said 25% of everything that on order on Amazon is returned. They said in-store returns are about 7%.
Yeah.
So
there's going to be some, and you think about it, you can't see the item physically, you can't try it on.
Yeah.
There's going to be some return, but then you get into the whole, then you're sending back more plastics and more cardboard in the environment, and you're paying double way, so the shipping cost goes up, because the same thing is UPS, FedEx, whoever they're shipping with knows, hey, they're going to have to ship multiple times. Like, we could charge them the $7, or we can just, charge them $7 twice.
Yeah.
And then Amazon says, well, we're not paying for that. And it puts it into the price. The free shipping is never free shipping. Prime shipping's never really free. Even Prime used to be a 2-day turnaround. Now it's not that. A lot of people don't know. I know people that we're talking to obviously do this for a living and know, but a lot of people think Amazon is just this big warehouse and they produce and put out everything.
No.
They don't know it's like people all across the world contributing, how it works. Like Walmart's kind of doing the same thing. To some extent, if you are selling things that cost you pennies, it does cost you more to take the return.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it is a money loss and just cut it off.
Yeah.
But there's a certain point where it's just weird where it's went from, even when we started the show half a decade ago to now.
Half a decade.
Half a decade, Adam.
That's so weird.
It's everything evolves, everything changes. I'm still trying to sell some of the stuff we were doing back then.
Yeah.
But some of it's like there's no money in that, or it's just the trend's over, or I can't afford the shipping. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird how things evolve.
And that's the thing. And it's funny you brought up half a decade. My wife and I just had I like to celebrate our anniversary of when I first really met her. And that was 20 years ago.
That's pretty romantic.
That was a score ago.
4 score?
No, one score.
1 score?
What? Yeah, 1 score ago.
Only 1 score?
About
3 kids. I got some, or you got 4 kids now. How many kids you got?
We have 3 children.
Okay, I got to do some math on this.
I didn't, have that. I had one later in life, but not in my 40s. So, but
There's still time.
But what I'm saying is time's going to go by. Like, do something different. Like, if you've thought about starting a podcast, do it. Because
you only got to do it once, twice a year. It stays active.
That's and scores of people will listen to it no matter what.
We love each and every one of them.
And like I said, go find a reselling thing. Go find a different job. Change something, like move. And the same thing. It's really funny. There's obviously a lot of your life is online, and I think most people our age, younger than late. Mid-50s, late 50s. Midlifers,
The old millennials.
Yeah, the old millennials.
These new kids don't know how to work.
Well, they don't get really their news source from
Sears,
CNBC, or the 5 o'clock news. Like, it just doesn't have, like...
They don't know what cable television's all about.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is that lifestyle, like, it's different. And now there are people, younger than us, our age, that are saying, you know what, this rat race, they all call it sucks. And they are literally packing up, selling everything, moving to Missouri, finding 5 acres, having chickens, growing things, bottling, canning things. And there's, I think everyone has realized, like, you got to get your life simpler.
You got to do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of how we started too, reselling's not for everybody.
No.
This isn't the way for everybody. You dabble in it a little bit, but you found your own thing. You started a business. That's the same. We got a friend who started umpiring women's softball, and now he's very successful at it.
Yeah.
So it's not what I talk about reselling, because that's kind of where I went with my side hustle, whatever. And that's kind of what the show's pattern. But it's more like just find your thing.
Yeah.
And whatever that is, there's usually a way to make some money at it. And that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But even if it's not, if it's just getting out in the mountains and finding cool rocks and coming home and polishing them,
yeah,
and put it in your Zen garden, that puts a smile on your face and takes the stress out of the world. Or, yeah, if you want to go homestead somewhere and build you a little small house on a piece of property, and you go bass fishing at the end of the day, and you fry that up on the skillet, whatever. Just find, because I think that's where we're getting to is, life's
it's too short.
It's short to be miserable.
Yes.
Especially. Go find whatever that is that gives you joy and happiness, and take ownership. Be happy. Yeah, that's really what this has all been about, is find that financial freedom. Earlier in our shows, we talked about the FIRE movement. It was real big at the time. It was financial independence, retire early.
Whoa.
And yeah, people would go get these jobs where they make 6 figures, and they just save every dime and put a lot into, whether it was IRAs or
401ks,
whatever. They'd maximize out all their money to a point where they'd figure out this 4% rule. And the idea was they could just live off 4% of the growth.
Yeah. And
they get to that number, then they just quit, and they'd go live in a Subaru out in the woods, whatever they were.
Oh, yeah.
And then a lot of people have got to that point to where that wasn't fulfilling.
No,
they still want to do stuff.
It's not sexy.
So they're to the point of, like, they want to get that financial independence, but then they'll start opening up, like, making their own maple syrup shop or something weird that they're into. Candle.
Oh, bottle makers.
Whatever. They find what they want to do. They don't really need it for the money. They just need a break-even spot, but that's like their passion. And you know, a lot of them do find that extra success because if you care that much about making homemade peanut butter or whatever it is, chances are there's somebody out there that's going to appreciate that. Like, I'm not going to go the extra mile. I'll just go buy Jeff off the shelf or whatever. But somebody that's really into it's like, this person took this time. This is great. This is the best peanut butter ever.
Yeah.
And I'll buy it for $30 a jar. And I'm going to tell all my friends.
Oh, yeah.
You know, or hipsters or whatever. I don't know who buys peanut butter.
Granolas.
The granola. Some me go tell the rest of my granolas that Munchie over here makes the best Munchie. Best peanut butter spread that's like good for my dog and for me. Hummus and oil.
Chickpeas is really big right now.
It is. And that's what they do. They go over to the farmer's market. Maybe they give them a little spot downtown, and that's what they do. And, you know, good for them. I got people that I'm friends with a guy that was at Saturday Night Live last week when Justin Timberlake was the guest. Singer. You know who Justin Timberlake is.
I know, but you forgot I don't watch those.
Well, I'm just saying
anymore.
I'm friends with a guy.
Sure, yeah.
On tour with Justin Timberlake that was at Saturday Night Live, taking pictures of what he was doing there.
Yeah.
Because of wrestling cards.
Oh,
I'm friendly enough where I can communicate with this guy who works strictly with Justin Timberlake, or he was working with ZZ Top, or he's worked with all these big, I got free tickets to go to ZZ Top and we were going to hang out after, but they had to load up the truck. So I just went about my way. But
you still got to go to ZZ Top.
Yeah, for free. Cause this guy and me are buds. Cause we trade wrestling cards.
Hold on a second. See, I like people, but my relationships, I don't know the last time I got ZZ Top tickets.
Because your circle doesn't work for ZZ Top as a guitar tech. But the same thing, though, if you're in Vegas and there's a guy that you work with, and I was just like, hey, I saw that you're here. I'm down here. Do you want to go? I was like, do you want to go find some cards or whatever? He's like, I'm at work, but do you want to come by to the show? Yeah. And that was the same over the holidays. I was trying to find some unique gifts. And he works for Timberlake now. Yeah. And my sister-in-law loves Justin Timberlake because she's of that age. Yeah. And he's not my cup of tea, but the guy's successful. You know, he's very successful. So I just said, hey, you got some guitar picks or something from Timberlake? Because I'll trade him some wrestling cards. I'll trade him $30 worth of a box of cards for this thing that I can flip on eBay for who knows what. I think guitar picks, too, that was another thing that was going to come up at some point. Collectible guitar picks. Yeah. I like him. I don't know if there's a market for him. I really like him. And he's like, oh, no, he doesn't have anything personalized yet because I just got here. But I'm working on that maybe next year. So it didn't work out. But he's like, I got some set lists and things, but I don't know if we want. And I'm like, I don't really want like a set list. Yeah. But now I'm like, I probably should have took that for a box of cards and sold it. I probably should have. But the other thing is you don't want to just be the guy. Yeah, because, they'll see it. Yeah, he's on eBay. He's going to see, you just buy this and sell it for. Yeah. Anyway, long story short there is just find whatever your passion is and go for it because life's too short.
Life is way too short to have to worry about those kind of things. So, well, I think I appreciate everybody re-listening to us, catching back in. We're going to make this a little more regular.
At least monthly.
We're going
to commit to at least, we'll record a bunch of shows and we'll put them out. But I think monthly is realistic, maybe twice a month.
Now, we're going to get back. We're going to start recording them.
Oh, he says this.
See, we're going to do it. We're going to take our Metamucil and get back on regular.
Maybe it will just be Derek saying hi.
We got to figure something
This is the Derek. Adam's not here, but I got keys to the place. So
we're going to record at least a couple more right now. Maybe do
I got stories.
A reflection.
I know you were out in a while, and my wife's like, you go talk to the therapist? And I'm like, well, probably. And can't talk to Adam.
This is our therapy. So, well, we're going to keep getting into it. Remember, like I said, it is tax time. Get all your receipts in order.
It used to be come to Adam Up Accounting, but he's booked full. So that's the other thing. We don't make a dime off this. This was fun. I mean, that's not why we started doing it.
We save money because your therapist is what, a couple $100 an hour times that.
And then I broke things and windows broken that have duct tape over them now.
And same with me. Like I said, I have this pent up frustration. I got to get out in some format. So this is probably the most healthy way.
I haven't seen you since football season. I used to be friends.
Hey, there was some Vegas invitations on both sides, and we could not connect. So hopefully we can connect with our listeners.
Ships passing it up.
They can keep continuing to listen.
And having this easy topic. Yeah, I can't make that.
Yeah, thanks, D-Roy. So that being said, my friend, there are two things in life that are for certain, and that would be
Deathpiles and taxes.
We're well within our rights to use this song. We're aware that preaching copyright is wrong. With lots of dedication, we've researched the legislation, and this music has nowhere else it belongs. Derek is the king of Deathpiles, and Adam does his taxes all the while. Deathpiles and taxes, selling stuff online in between. Deathpiles and taxes, no copyright infringement to be seen. Derek is the king of Deathpiles, and Adam does his taxes all the while. Deathpiles and taxes, selling stuff online in between. Deathpiles and taxes, no copyright infringement.